All right, here, Coach Damion Hahn's out to go to state, getting your day zero kind of warm up, all that stuff in, workout here at the Big 12 tournament. Kind of talks through what you guys are doing today.
Today is just kind of normal day before, what we do. Guys, they played a little game, got their heart rates up a little bit. They're gonna spar, and then we'll do a little live go just to kind of. This is kind of the standard in what we do, all year long, preparation wise. When it comes down to competition, our day before is always the same thing, and just keeping a routine. And then guys will get what they need after that, as far as weight management and stuff like that. So, this is what we do. We're at that point in the season, really.
So give us a little bit of an assessment of your season, where your team's at right now.
It's been good, right? I've been there 7 years. This is the first season that we had 14 wins, on the season. We had 4 losses. Two of them, we're in the Big 12. One of them was to you and I twice. So, for the most part, it's been a good year, but you got to put it together for these next 2 weekends. That's the biggest thing. These guys, the team component is so important, I believe. I'm a huge dual meet guy. I love what it does for, your culture, your camaraderie within your program, and especially for your institutions. People, when you're talking about promoting our sport and building our sport, people can get behind institutions more so than I believe getting behind one individual. And so I think that is super important. So leading up to this point, I think it's been a success, right? A successful year. But now you got to be selfish. You got to focus on yourself. And what you do out there will contribute to the overall success of the team at this point. So, I think if everything goes well, the biggest thing is keeping guys healthy and in the right frame of mind. I think this weekend and 2 weeks from now should be great. If you look at the last couple of years and what we've been able to do as far as our program, we really stress that culture component, and then leading up into these last 2 weekends, these guys are going to come together and they'll peak at the right time.
So, you mentioned the 7 years you've been around, and the Big 12 this year, I think, is as tough as I can recall. Top to bottom, you look at, Arizona State comes in, OU stays, Missouri's back in, all these different kind of moving pieces and parts and stuff. It's a gauntlet. It's a really, really tough tournament here. What do you feel like it does, as far as having this type of conference tournament and then translate to going to the Big 12 or to the NCAA's a couple weeks and having, getting to see this level of competition before you go into that?
It's good. The Big 12 conference has been a great conference since the infancy of wrestling. We're kind of at a point in time where how many Division I programs do we have? We're sitting around 80, shy of 80. We're not like these other sports that have 300 plus that they can avoid competition, right? So I feel that our Big 12 conference overall has continued to grow, right? When they brought in the affiliates, we brought in 8 affiliate members. That it strengthened the Big 12 conference. You talk about specific teams that have brought things to the table, which I think are important. But overall, wrestling doesn't have an abundance of programs, and so we have to compete outside of our conference. The Big 10 competes with the Big 12. We go out east and we wrestle in the EIWA, the Ivy League. So I think wrestling is a very unique sport, and we have to look out for one another. If we don't do that, then you're going to see programs get dropped. You're going to see conferences blow up, and that's not what we want. We want the competitiveness that we have, and being within the Big 12 conference, that has been great. Our affiliates that have added to the Big 12 conference have been transformational, to be honest with you. And that is something that I hope the Big 12 understands and sees, and these other conferences that are building and starting, and the Ivy League is a brand new conference, and what they're doing. It's great. It really is. And the competitive nature that we have in the Big 12, it has only helped us take another step and prepare for the NCAA championships.
So you guys have had some incredible support in your program, and when I talk about your new facility, all those things that have been going on. Well, talk a little bit about the culture from that standpoint. I mean, you mentioned the culture you're building as a team, but it seems like you got a fan base and kind of community that gets behind you pretty good.
Yeah, Brookings is a town of, mid 25,000 people. They love their athletics. They love their university. And so from a fan's perspective, we have really good support, and we have knowledgeable fans, and that's awesome, because these kids just don't go out there and wrestle for themselves. I mean, they represent their families, they represent their institution, they represent us as a program. So having that support is great. That facility that we have, I believe it's one of the finest facilities in America. That would not have happened if we didn't have the support, right? I mean, the majority of that facility was privately raised dollars, and within our community and around the surrounding areas. So you talk about a commitment to, I like to say, excellence, and what that has done for our program. Got there 7 years ago, and we had the same room since 1970. It was small. It was. I don't want to say not functional, I mean, because we used it, but you talk about people coming together, you talk about, the team culture that we have, that started in those places. And then as we stepped into, our new facility, that upped the ante of how we can go about doing things, right? Whether it was training aspects or their overall, college experience. That's what that kind of did. We had to set the standard. We had to create the culture. And now these kids are taking it upon themselves, right? They have the standard. They have how they want their program to handle, their business, their situations. And yeah, the facility has helped immensely, but it started before the facility, and the facility has been a cherry on the top.
So, big weekend. Obviously, you can solidify who's going to nationals in a couple weeks. You can win conference titles. You can do all these things. What if you could put a pin in what you view as success for this weekend? How would you describe what you think South Dakota State having a successful tournament is?
Well, I mean, success is all relative, right? I mean, we can go out there and we could send 10 guys to the national tournament, and we could squeak in there, right? 10 guys could squeak in. Is that success? I mean, some people might look at it that way. I tell my guys all the time, I don't care. It's not about the wins and the losses. It's about how you perform. If I have a guy go out there and he performs to his absolute best capability and he falls short, I cannot be bad about that. I can't be sad about it, because he gave me everything he has. And so for me, it's about performance. If we send 10 guys, if we send one guy, it's going to be based on performance. And I want those guys to go out there and lay it on the line. I mean, that's what we do every single day. That's what they train for all year long. You go out there, you lay it on the line, you put out your best performance. And if you do that, you're going to go to the national tournament, because I think we have the group of guys that can get on that podium, that can compete with anybody in the country. And that's the standard that we put out to our guys, right? Go out there and perform. You do that, everything else will take care of itself.
Awesome, Coach. Well, hey, I'll let you get back to your team, but I appreciate your time, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, man.